Hi there, I'm Dave Williams. I'm a lecturer in sport business and sports marketing. It's what they call a practitioner lecturer, in that I have a lot of industry experience. We're here today in Poole, Dorset, to film one of our interviews for the Equip project. And the idea is to get the sports industry closer to learning at university and adult education. We're seeing Roger Dodge Woodall, who is founder and CEO of the Diamond Sporting Group. They own and run the very successful Bournemouth Sevens, and we're here to listen to some of Dodge's experiences of running the successful event. Dodge, thank you very much indeed for helping us and for your time.
You're more than welcome, Dave.
Yep, I'm interested in picking your brains on some subjects.
Let's go.
Good.
See what happens.
We're focusing on Bournemouth Sevens.
Yes.
And the idea really is to run some theoretical concepts past you that we teach at university,
Yep.
and to work out whether they work in real life or not,
Okay.
and what your view of them are.
Fire any questions to me, Dave, and I'll see what comes out.
Excuse the kind of DIY approach to
Yep.
this. It's not high tech, it's low tech.
Yep.
But first I wanted to ask you about, it's the sort of the beginning of it, because stakeholder management is the thing that kind of covers everybody involved
Yep.
in the successful running of an event.
Yes.
Whether it be the Olympics or something happening at Wembley or whatever it is. So in terms of in Bournemouth Sevens, there must be a lot of people that you come into contact with who can help or hinder, that you need to kind of manage over the year as part of the kind of preparatory
Yes.
planning of it all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with this power interest matrix.
I'm not. That looks very educational, Dave.
Well, I'll try to keep it as simple as possible because I don't want to confuse myself. Yeah. But the idea really is that you list all the people who might be of influence on the successful running of your event, and you put them in these different categories based on their power and their interest.
Okay.
So high power, low power, high interest, low interest. And the idea is that if you select them as high power, high interest, they go into this key category here.
Okay.
If they are of high interest and low power, you need to keep them informed, keep them ticking over, keep them telling what's happening, because they're obviously interested.
Yep.
And there's this other group here who are low interest but high power, and you need to somehow keep them satisfied, because they may well suddenly become, because they're powerful, they may suddenly switch across that line and be quite influential, either positively or negatively on your event. And then this other area here, low interest, low power, is kind of keep them tipping away, but they're of minimal effort. Can you see how this applies to kind of a long-range planning thing as far as sevens? If you're thinking about next year's event, are you already being friendly to the council and to Transport Network?
Absolutely. I've never looked at anything like this before in my life, and it's not my bag. But what I can say is that the most important people, when putting on Bournemouth Sevens Festival in the lead up to the year, you've got to remember we work 362 days of the year. Am I looking to camera or to you?
You're fine. You're looking good.
We work up 362 days of the year to put on a festival for 3 days. Those 362 days are vitally important about relationship. Mm-hmm. And the relationship there, number one, the most important people in any business is not your customers, it's my team of staff. They're the most important. So I put them in high power.
Yep, and high interest.
And high interest. And to be honest with you, Dave, throughout the whole year, we're dealing with the police, the council, licensing, fire brigade, the airport, Bournemouth Airport, because our festival is next to the airport. We've got a festival of 30,000 people, 400 competing teams right next to the airport. So you've got to be dealing with all of those key persons of influence. But on top of that, you've got showers, toilets, fencing, flooring, Wi-Fi, CCTV, security. The list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. It's about keeping those relationships, for me, in high.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
At a particular times, though, do they kind of come in and out of high?
The key to it is the relationship. I'm very lucky. I've got a wonderful team in there. I've got my managing director and operations manager and what have you, who keep those relationships. And especially we've just gone through COVID, those relationships were seriously coming to... due to our relationships, we managed to put on Bournemouth Sevens within 42 days of giving notice from Boris Johnson, just gone.
Yep.
Because he said, right, now in July, our festival was in August because we had to move it due to COVID. In July, he said, right, no social distancing, no face masks. We had 42 days to put on a festival for 30,000 people. Due to our relationships, we managed that the toilets, showers, glamping tents, everything that went to put that festival on, we managed to be able to put it on. 800 staff we have each day. Mm-hmm. And due to our relationship, we managed to put the festival on. So I put every single one of them in high.
Okay, I like it. But is there a way of, do you measure afterwards? Do you kind of say, okay, let's review this, debrief afterwards and say, oh, we could have done that better, or we need to be a bit friendlier with these people?
Not the friendly bit, because we're friendly with everyone.
Yeah.
If you're a cleaner, you're exactly the same to me as you are as a managing director. I personally anyway, talk to everyone exactly the same. And it's about respect. Mm-hmm. Respect everyone. Everyone's there to create your brand for you to give the best experience to your customers.
Right, good answer. Thank you. Next page.
Yep.
We talk. We tend to talk about this. Football tends to be the one that the default option that comes to mind all the time in terms of entertainment events. Maybe not so much as participation events, but it's still the same idea. The product as a service, whether it's spectator or participation. I particularly like this idea because we break down the product, what's the product, into core, actual and augmented. And as I said earlier, often people think of a football match as the ticket or the seat or the pitch or the teams. They may think of the Bournemouth Sevens if you ask them, what's the product? Oh, it's I buy a ticket, I get an entry to a competition, I've got a space for a tent, whatever
the product for Bournemouth Sevens is the experience.
Yes.
It's not a ticket. It's not anything else that goes with it. It's the experience. Now, to create that experience, you've got to make sure that when someone's bought into your brand and they buy your ticket, and because they've seen on social media the whole build-up for the whole year of social media, this celebrity is going to be there, this DJ is going to be playing, 400 teams are competing, everyone around the UK are travelling down, talking to each other. We've created a community, and for us, when the 30,000 people turn up in a queue in, it's making sure on that front door, you're welcoming everyone, making sure that your 100, 240 security are being polite to everyone, making sure that when you walk through, they're getting that feeling of colour and vibe and kindness and love. And that's what we've created over the last 14 years. And that's why, they say most businesses, they say 50% of businesses don't make it past 18 months. 80% of businesses don't make it past 5 years, and very little amount of businesses make it past 10 years. I think it's about 2%. Mm-hmm. We're coming into year 15. The reason why we've come to where we are today is because we've looked after people. If there's something going wrong within the festival, we communicate. Our communication is totally open. And we've created a wonderful brand. And the brand is key in business. The brand is absolutely key. Anyone listening, the brand is vitally key. I've created many 10, 15, 20 brands over the last 20 odd years. Yeah. The brand is key. Businesses come and go, but people remember the brand. The brand is what they talk about when you're not in the room. And with Bournemouth Sevens, they know they're getting a wonderful brand and a wonderful product. Great entertainment, great service, great people, great vibe. Bands playing, DJs playing, people in fancy dress. We create that whole vibe that people are having 3 days of fun where they can forget about everything going on in their lives and just come and enjoy themselves in the Disneyland for adults.
So that's the core. So yes. Corporate, you're kind of answering lots of the questions I was going to ask in the future. Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah. You're allowed to go off piste.
Okay, that's fine.
And I was thinking. Okay, so the core product is that enjoyment, fun, party atmosphere.
Yeah. Experience.
Yeah, and that and it's connected with sport. Yes. How many of the are participating in the actual sport, and how many are coming to watch it?
20,000 coming to party, 10,000 competing.
Okay, so it's a good mix.
Yeah,
and the
70% women.
Yeah, good.
Which is amazing. And you got 400 teams. The women's sport has taken over the men's. The amount of women's teams taken over the men's teams.
Yes,
it's unbelievable how it's changed over the last 5-6 years.
Oh, and so that shift it's shifted towards women.
To female sport.
Yes,
to women's rugby, to women's hockey, netball, dodgeball, volleyball.
If we're going to go off piste, I'm going to go off piste now.
Let's go.
Why hasn't anybody else done it quite the same? Why isn't there anything else? Because I remember you and I talking about the Glastonbury of sport.
Yes.
7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd see other ones popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
But why hasn't it
A
happened?
lot have popped up.
Yeah.
But it's very different for myself. I'm putting on events for 22 years now. Put on 1,500 events around the UK and put on 14 sport and music festivals for 30,000 people. So I've sold over 1 million tickets. I know how to promote, I know how to market, I know how to create a brand, I know how to create an experience. I know what music works, I know how to lay out the festival site, that the flow of people are going past music tents and dance tents and creating this wonderful experience. Obviously people who come to our festival will think, I can do that, our rugby club, or I can go and do that up in Scotland or in Leicester or in Cardiff or in London. And people have tried it, but you know, if you're not in events and you're not a promoter, you're not into marketing, it's very difficult to, one, get the people through the doors. To get people through the doors, you've got to understand how to market to those people to get them through the doors.
Yeah.
When you're marketing to them, you've then got to, they've then got to buy a ticket to come. You've got to convince them to buy a ticket. And when they're there, they're going to have a great experience. You know, there's probably, we were the pioneers of doing a sport and music festival, you know, bringing netball in, bringing dodgeball and volleyball and adding these sports to 200 sevens teams competing. But I've lived and breathed this now for 4,000 days, non-stop. That's coming up to 15 years. Lived and breathed this festival. And I understand if people are going to come to the festival and go, we can do this at our club, but actually if you're year one, you're in for 500 grand or £1 million and not many people turn up, you've lost a lot of money. Do you then go and chase the dragon the following year to go, we can make this work? Or do you just cut your losses? And you know, there's lots of people have tried, and I do help people. I do help other people. I don't see them as competition. If someone wants to come and have a chat and say, Dodge, how do we do this? I'll say, this is how you do it, but it's going to cost you a lot of money to do.
Yeah. So on the same, then on the same, the same idea then, why haven't you then thought, okay, I can do this. Why don't I take something to Scotland or to Ireland or to Amsterdam?
I have.
Yes.
I thought many a times. But I'd be robbing Peter to pay Paul. Cardiff Sevens, London Summer Sevens. I've looked at all of them. I've looked at Miami Sport and Music Festival, like seriously looked at it, you know. And I've looked at all these, and forget the Miami one for now. That's another subject we can talk about. But actually, when you do your homework and go and look at a venue, and you go and look at the date and whatever, and look at the parking, and look how many chimney pots are around there, and can you have late licensing? Can you have loud music? Can you have all these things? If it doesn't tick 8 of the 10 boxes, I'll walk away from it. And all the ones that I looked at didn't tick 8 of the 10 boxes. Also, on that point as well, Dave, is that there's a window of 12 weeks in the summer. Mine's the first festival out of all of them, before Glastonbury, before Reading, before Leeds, before Isle of Wight, before Creamfields. We're the first one of the whole season. If I was to put a festival in 8 weeks later, people go, oh, that's the guy who owns Bournemouth Sevens. He's now doing Cardiff Sevens. Let's pick Cardiff next year and don't do Bournemouth. I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know, when you put a festival on for a couple of £1 million, I don't want to be then doing another festival eating at the same audience.
It's my assumption that most of them are students, but that's not necessarily the correct assumption.
No.
Any percentages there?
The average age of most festivals, music festivals, average age is about 19. Our average age is about 23. You know, but we've got an array of 80, it's an adult festival, 18 all the way up to 60, 70. But then we've got VIP tents when you've got 1,000 30-year-olds plus. The VVIP tents where you've got your own private bars and you've got your own DJs and the celebrities are in there and the TV crews are in there, and it's a real sort of chilled vibe looking over the main pitch in an Ibiza style. You know, so we
how
arrange...
do you work that? You've invited me to come down.
Yes.
And when you invited me, I thought, my liver's not going to handle that. I missed my opportunity.
It's a boozy festival because it's like-minded people in a field for 3 days partying and having fun playing sport. And we're all like-minded people, and that's what the key has been to this festival, is that sports people love playing sport, and they like drinking and having fun and dancing to music we all love and coming together as a community.
Do you then have, I'm thinking about the different sorts of accommodation and different sorts of packages, do you then segment differently? Do you actually target certain types of people, or do you think about the type of person, your segmentation is basically people who love sport and who love a party and who love music, and will then offer them what's available. Absolutely. And anybody can have a choice.
We have a number of packages. We'll have a camping package where you come as your team, 40 of you, you'll travel down from Leicester or Cardiff or Birmingham, you come down as a team of 40 and you'll all want to camp. Or you think, hold on, we don't want to camp, We don't want to carry tents and lug them all around and put tent poles and etc. We want to do glamping. So we have all these wonderful, beautiful boutique glamping tents already up for you, where you've got private showers, you've got posh toilets, you've got bedside tables, you've got duvets, you've got pillows, you've got everything laid on a plate for you. So yeah, that's what we do.
You can see that I'm tempted already.
You are tempted. I'm reeling you in here. There is a category for you as
Yeah,
well.
I'm sure there is. There is somewhere.
Where were you in? When are you playing?
The category somewhere in hospital, I think, my place. So talking about place,
Yep.
and you've kind of touched on this already about the atmosphere and what you are expecting from the brand when you turn up at the festival. But I want to put it into the language of university, where we talk about the 4 P's of marketing. One of those P's is place. I'm thinking about place because I'm thinking about the event, but also not just, you said you hit the nail on the head. You talked about the expectations of the brand, and so the place starts the moment you learn about Bournemouth Sevens. When you go onto the
surely the
website.
place is not the location.
It's it's the it's the interaction between you and your customer, basically anywhere.
Where does place come from though? Interaction.
Well, I think place covers both the place of service, but also things like delivery of a product, a goods product. So if you're buying a pair of trainers, for example, then the place is the shop or the website. Okay. So it's
so
kind
for
of the
Bournemouth
whole...
Sevens, I would say like place is about the location of the site.
But as well as the contact you have to begin with, in terms of if you phone up and say, look, I want to come down, I'm not sure what do I want the glamping option or am I going to camp? And somebody in your office answers them, and they're straight and they're friendly and they're quality service. So that's part of
for us.
Place
It's all about quality service. Customer service is key in any business here. If you I don't know who's going to be watching this, but customer service is number one. If you've got a great relationship, they will tell 10 people instantly.
I've got to think. So we're talking about the kind of customer journey here. But I live near Ascot Racecourse, and I go occasionally. I tend to go for the smaller events because I enjoy it more. I don't know one horse.
More intimate.
I don't know one horse for another. So, but I know that I can see them walking past my house. They ship in. They have 12 events a year, possibly. They ship in staff, young staff. They're well turned out. They're friendly, but they don't know how to use the beer pourer. They don't know how to use the till. And Ascot as a brand talks about luxury and prestige and quality service, but it's not quite. How do you overcome that in terms of you must have to have a part-time, like you said, 800
staff, It's briefing. It's communication before. It's great communication because you've got to ship 800 staff to the festival site. You open your doors at 9 a.m. in the morning, you've got 12, 14, 16 huge bars across the site. You're making sure that these bar staff are going into their bars and they're walking into something in a field. They're like, God, I need to learn this quickly. They need to learn the till systems. They need to learn the contact list. They need to know what they do with the receipts. They need to know who their bar manager is for those 3 whole days. They need to know that there's communication from the senior bar managers that be polite. Someone comes up, be polite. Be nice. What would you like? If there's a queue of people, the easiest thing to do if there's a queue of people, I'm serving someone, there's frustration there, just as a bar person, just acknowledge, I've got you, I've clocked you, you're next, I've clocked you. Everyone, the whole pressure just eases. So it's all these tiny little things can really make a big difference to the customer. And if you create a wonderful experience for the customer will tell 10 people, put it all over Facebook, put it over Instagram, put it over TikTok, and they will bring 10 people the following year to come to your event.
So is training quite important? Do you really sort of drill that into the staff about what your expectations are? Is there a quality standard?
Yeah, well, it comes from the top. It comes from the top here. It comes from our team here. We set standards from the top. It's about treating everyone the same, making sure that everyone's bubbly, everyone's happy, everyone's happy to be there. Pay more than the average wage for someone to come and pour drinks, because they're the front, they're the people. The normal customer's not going to realise that person working behind the bar is not a full-time member of staff. They will just link that person behind the bar, or that person cleaning up, or doing the bins, or doing the toilets. The normal customer will just think that's part of your organisation. But we've subcontracted all of that out because you can't have 800 full-time staff just for one weekend of the year. No. So it has to come from the top. How we are at the top gets filtered down to everyone who works across the site.
Good. I'm thinking about churn. How many people are repeat customers? Do they keep coming back?
We have a huge high percentage of repeat customers.
Yeah.
And what it happens is, because it's an age thing, because we're people playing sport, that 18 to 30 is the core.
Yeah. But the young ones go with the older ones.
Yeah, when the 16, 17 year eight, they turn 18 and 19, 20. When the 30-year-olds are now married, they've got kids, the missus won't allow him to go on a rugby tour because they got kids, or she's got a hen do to go that weekend. That all starts to slow down. When they've had the kids and they get to their 40s, they end up coming back again.
Is there touch rugby involved? Do you know the touch thing?
There's no touch rugby, no. We've got vets rugby. Over 35s as well, everyone turns out. But that's my prime example. Over 35s, 40s, there's an excuse now that they're coming back to the festival to reminisce what it used to be like when they were there 7 or 8 years ago. Same as the netballers. The netballers are, they get to an age, they then come back, they leave their husbands at home looking after the kids. We're going on a netball tour. So that's how it's worked for us. So the 18 to 30 crowd is the core crowd.
Yeah, I can imagine. Process is about the flow, the customer journey, if you like, and I suppose that you look at that all the time to work out whether it's working. I always think if you're running a business through a website, that you need to be looking at it from the customer point of view.
How do you make it easy for the customer? Make everything easy for the customer. And the quicker you can do that, the quicker your business will grow. Even if you're talking online, they're not having too many clicks to get to where you want to get to. When you're about to pay, you're not having to have silly different forms to fill out. Get straight to the point. Apple Pay do it perfectly well. Straight to the point, look in the face, double click, gone. But for us, the process is making sure of people walking around the site. When you've got 30,000 people on 67 acres of land, that's a huge amount of people. If you think about it, 30,000 people in a stadium, that stadium's there. They walk up there, they go to the toilet there. We're bringing everything in. Yeah. It's like a mini city for the weekend.
So they're not sat in one seat.
They're not sat in one seat. You don't know what movement they're going to make. You don't know where they're going to walk, where they're going to go to. You've got to make sure it's all fenced off. You've got to make sure you have security. We've got 240 security placed in the right places. You've got to make sure the flow of people, that the right music is being played at the right time in the different tents, that they get attracted to go into that tent.
Are you on the radio?
Everyone's on radio. Everyone
earpiece on radio. Walking around all the time.
And for me, I am always taking notes on how I can improve it for next year. People are like, do you enjoy it? I say, hey, I'm loving it. Why are you writing notes? Oh, I need to improve that for next year, that for next year. And that's why we're coming to year 15.
And talking to
everyone. I talk to everyone. People want to come up and have a chat. They want to have a selfie. They want to talk to you about the festival. Thanks for putting it on. People are really happy that you put the festival on for them. So we've created a win-win situation. And in business, the key to successful business is creating win-win situations. Yeah. Where everyone's happy.
Yeah. It's the Dale Carnegie thing about thinking about the other person.
Absolutely.
And keeping them happy.
Absolutely. Keep everyone happy. And that's my point, going back to what you were saying earlier about the high and low and your grid.
They're all high.
Everyone's high. I'm not sure where the grid come from, but I've never looked at anything like that. Keep everyone as a priority. Not they're low, I'll deal with them later, they're minions or whatever. This is everyone is high. Everyone is vitally important to make this well-oiled machine of a sport and music festival work each year.
I suppose the idea of that though is the idea of the process and how much time and money you have, and you can't keep everybody super happy all of the time.
Why not?
Because you've only got a certain amount of resource, human or
why not?
Financial resource.
Keep everyone happy. Why would you not? Why would you not?
Well, you try.
You try. Keep everyone happy. You're this. My whole life is on this. Keep everyone happy. Be there, open, and communicate.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm not sat there on a computer. I don't do email. We just filter through. I do everything, run off WhatsApp. All my staff for the operation is all email. We keep everyone happy. It's not hard to spend an extra 30 seconds writing a nice little intro before your email, or signing it off in the right way where they can read it and go, oh, that's really kind of them. That's nice of them. And that's how we operate.
I like it. I like it. We touched on brand earlier, fulfillment of a promise, and you said the same. Basically, you said that every interaction with the brand needs to be. You need to be fulfilling the promise. Yes. It needs to be true to what you've promised, and they're getting that experience. I suppose there's not much more to say to that.
The only thing with the brand is making sure it's Instagrammable, and that's the world we're in at the moment, Dave. And making sure that our festival is very, very colourful. Making sure there's backdrops where people can take photos with Bournemouth Sevens festival in the back. Because our customers, our clients, the people who we love, they're the ones who are going to be promoting your brand. They're the ones who are pinging it out to TikTok, and all of a sudden it goes viral around 1.2 million people. They're doing it for free for us.
The interesting thing that we talk about co-creation of value, where you're co-creating the value of the brand with your customers, just like an audience at a sports event, an audience, a crowd. And I guess what you're saying is, yes, it has to be Instagrammable, but you're providing the essence of the brand in the first place, in that what is Instagrammable. But going back to that kind of core benefit, that you need to set up the atmosphere where it's Instagrammable, but it's also fun, music, sport,
Absolutely.
and that whole kind
and
of
people having
essence
beers
of it is,
and being true, and having integrity and being real. And the beauty of this is, I created the brand in 2008. I wanted to be that brand about what I would enjoy with my mates. I've created a festival that myself and all my mates would love to go to.
Yes.
And we're older than the 18 to 30-year-old now. But people want to see a face behind a brand. People have access to me on Instagram, on LinkedIn. You know, if they send an email, I'll send you my mobile number. Drop me a WhatsApp. Bam, you got me straight away. I'll answer straight away. We've got a WhatsApp. Let's go. So it's I'm different, I guess. You know, but I've done it my style and my way. I've never had a mentor, Dave, or anything like that. I've done it my way, and it seems to be working. Touch wood. Yeah.
Last
one.
question.
Here we go. What we got? Sponsorship.
And I know you get involved in a lot of sponsorship, and you have some great sponsors for the event.
We've had some wonderful international brands who get behind us for this event.
And I love the idea of sports sponsorship, especially. That's my thing. But obviously you are sport and entertainment and music. And I love this idea of how emotional messages are much more effective than logical, rational ones. And so sponsors look for the opportunity to communicate with people's passions by using people's passion as a vehicle, whether it's sport or music. And I think also people are much more receptive when they're enjoying themselves, quality time, to a message than if they're rushing to take the kids to school or get on the train home from work. Tell me about passion and how the sponsors use it, or how you can provide it to your sponsors during the event.
Sponsorship for me is very simple. For me personally, it's identifying a brand that would be well aligned to our values and what we currently do. The next thing that I do is to find out, is that CEO or the owner of that brand, do they like rugby? Do they like sport? Do they like netball? Because if he doesn't, and he just likes horse racing, he's not going to get behind it. So as soon as you find out someone who is behind a big sponsor, you open the door with them, you then invite them to take them for a steak. This is what I do. And it seems to work. Or you invite them to the golf course. Do they like golf? Take them to the golf course. They've got to be with you for 4.5 hours and they can't leave. So this is how it works for me. But actually, we create a win-win situation. What are you going to get for being a sponsor at our festival? You're going to get access to 30,000 people, which is your demographic. We will take the sponsorship in-house and we will activate it for you because we know what works. We will put you in the right position, the right location that everyone has to have walk by trade, where you're getting eyeballs to your brand. Pre-event, during event and post-event, you will get, working with us, marketing your brand associated with us across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, our database, whatever it may be, our text message services, our e-flyers that go out to everyone.
It's a good point, really, isn't it? Because you're right. You're the experts. So like if you were a YouTube influencer, an individual.
No one's going to do it better than we can in-house.
And that's why brands give the onus to the influencers to produce their own content.
Absolutely.
Because they know who their audience is.
Absolutely. And our audience relate to us because we're real. They can relate to the owners and the directors and whoever's involved because we are real people. We're not a conglomerate or a big corporate hiding behind some fancy brand. You know, so what we do, the sponsors that come on board want to be real.
Yes.
And it seems to work. You know, we have a lot of drink sponsors, we have a lot of fashion sponsors. People just want to get behind us because it's a sport and music festival. The demographic is perfect for them.
It's a combination of
It's a combination of everything. The demographic's wonderful, you know.
Good. Okay, thank you very much. That is great.
Yep.
Dodge, you've been fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on, Dave.
No, you're very welcome.
Good man.
Good, mate.